Hey, what up, KX crew? So today I wanted to rave about a show that I watched recently on Netflix. It's a show that I recommend to anybody who's into health and fitness, athletics, stuff like that. It's called The Physical 100. A second season got announced, so I think if you wanted to check it out before the second season comes out, now's a really good time. And that's it for the video. See you guys later. No, but without spoiling it too much, I wanted to give you guys the premise of it and what makes it so fantastic. So you have 100 humans, 100 individuals, each one an athlete in their own field. So what makes this so interesting is that every athlete is a star, an expert, and an absolute elite in whatever field that they come from. But all the athletes are so different from each other. So you'll get people who are rugby players going up against people who are mountain climbers, going up against people who are bodybuilders, magazine models, the generic CrossFitter, powerlifter, stuff like that. But then there's some people who are military or security guards, even down to something as simple as like a fitness influencer like me. And another cool thing about that is because of, the field that they're coming from, the background that they have, that's the physique that they're bringing into the competition. This ultimate battle between athletes. So if you're someone who's interested in, what the human body can do, and you've always been interested or fascinated in, different types of physiques, different types of sports, how the body works in different ways, this show is definitely something that I would recommend. Okay, minor spoilers here. So there's 100 people, right? They split the group in half. In the first competition, this railing comes down from the roof, and everyone just has to hold on to it. Okay, it's not an elimination round, that's why I don't think it's like a spoiler, but it's interesting how you see all these different bodies, right? You see someone who's just massive, hundreds of pounds of muscle. They walk in the room and everyone's intimidated. But when you see that railing come down and now they have to hold on, and now their huge size and strength doesn't mean anything, because all that it is now is just a bunch of body weight. So now all of a sudden all the big guys are at a huge disadvantage, and all the small, nimble people that maybe do a lot of body weight stuff, or people who are, climbing as their background, or something like that, right? Lots of calisthenics or lots of grip work or stuff like that. Now they're at an advantage. So the cool thing is throughout the show, all the athletes are kind of like, depending on what the challenge is, everyone kind of has their moment to shine. Like the small, fast guys have their time to shine. The big, strong guys have their time to shine. Everyone has their time to shine. So it's really cool because you'll see athletes competing at their biggest disadvantages compared to their biggest advantages. So if you're doing something that involves, agility or small coordination or whatever, you might not want a big, muscular, strong guy in your team. But if you're playing a game like tug of war, then you do want that guy in your team. So they do break off into teams to do some team challenges. And there are some moments where, team captains have to pick people for their team, and you have to see the rationale between why they're picking the people that they choose. It's just, I don't know, it's something about that. It's just so raw and primal and interesting. It just really excites this inner part of me that I don't know what it is. The inner athlete, the inner competitor. I've always been fascinated by just the body at its basics. As a personal trainer, I'm always emphasizing the basics. I understand that every body can do the same things, but everyone has advantages and disadvantages based on their build, based on their body types. And usually in a day-to-day situation, people are in the sports that they chose, that they know that they can operate the best in, or you're in a scenario where the athletes are competing with people who aren't very athletic, just any kind of athlete has their time to shine. In this show, from the beginning, you can't look at any single individual and be like, oh, they have the best advantage. You just don't know. You have no idea how it's going to shape up. So throughout the show, whatever event is happening, people are eliminated down to one person, and then they say that person is the ultimate physique. I like the premise of the show. I don't know if it's... See, there is this element of luck, because it is just entertainment, right? Like, it's at the end of the day, you enjoy the show, that's it. But there is an element of luck. Like if someone, like a team captain, picked you to be on a team with someone who, was really suited for the challenge that was coming up, you got lucky, right? So there are some elements of luck to it, based on maybe who you get paired up against, or if your background happened to be better than the background of the person you're going up against for any given challenge. That's just my way of saying, like, at the end, when they get down to whoever has the best physique, I think that's kind of more like a flashy title. It's kind of like when they give out titles that are like the world's fastest, or the Guinness Book of World Records for... It's kind of hard to say that's the person that has the best physique, because, you know, these were predetermined challenges and there was luck involved. It's kind of hard to say, because you never know who else is out there in the world who might be a better athlete than you. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt. But, I mean, as far as like finding the ultimate physique, this show probably is the closest that anything has ever come. You know, when you take such a balanced, broad range approach to it, with such different athletes and individuals competing against each other, and no one knows what's going on, right? It's a total level playing field aside from advantages and disadvantages. So before we wrap up the video, I just want to share with you my favorite scene from this whole show. So they're playing a game of keep away. Two athletes are competing against each other. It was a smaller athlete and a bigger athlete. Okay, the big guy I think was a power lifter. I don't remember what the small guy was, but anyway, the small guy was a winner from a previous round, so he got to choose who he was going to go up against. So if it's a game of keep away, he was one of the only people in the whole matchup to pick someone bigger than them. Everyone else had an opportunity who were winners from the previous game. They all chose someone of similar size or smaller. So I got pretty excited when this small guy picked a bigger guy, right? Big, muscular, I think he was a power lifter, or a rugby player, something like that. But anyway, so his plan was to, since he's like, I'm smaller and faster, my strategy is that I'm going to run to this ball as fast as I can. I'm going to be faster than the big guy. I'm going to grab it, and then all I have to do is stay away from him because I'm smaller and faster. Should be a cakewalk, right? But what ended up happening, and it's interesting to see the strategy going into this. It's like kids playing in a playground, you know? It's just my body against his body. I don't know. See, I'm kind of geeking out a little bit here. But anyway, so they take off after the ball. The game starts. So the little guy is running, and he's ahead of the big guy. The little guy's ahead of the big guy. And he's getting close to the ball. But he went a little bit too fast. He didn't break down fast enough before he got to the ball. He went a little bit over top of it. So he overshot it a little bit. So now he's like trying to catch it as he goes. I think there was a little bit of overconfidence there. And then the big guy from behind gives him like a shove. Like shoves him out of the way. So now he's overshot the ball and he's gone. Now the big guy has the ball. So then it's like, well, what's going to happen next? You know? So the big guy takes the ball, throws it in a corner. Then he goes with his back to the corner and just is ready. He's just on defense for the rest of the round. So now this little guy is like, damn, that didn't play out the way that I hoped. So now the little guy, thinking that he was going to be holding the advantage the whole round, ended up being at a massive disadvantage. So you can only strategize so much. You can't underestimate anybody, which is what's so amazing about this show, is that even though you can look at a body and be like, oh, that type of body is not going to do good at this event, you might be surprised. Like when you know, when there's something on the line, when people are competing, when they want to win, obviously there's money, cash prize, whatever. I don't even think any of these athletes cared about the cash prize by the end. I think they were just so excited by the premise of having the ultimate physique or just not getting eliminated. I think that the cash prize was just kind of like a little bit of icing on the cake. But anyway, it's just interesting how it all plays out. So as a spectator, I would highly recommend it. I think it would look pretty fun. I hope that I get the chance to compete in something like that. It looks like so much fun. Every time, like every event I was watching, I was like, oh man, I'd love to try this and see how I would do. But yeah, the Physical 100 season 2 is coming. I don't know when, but I'd recommend it. Check it out. That's it for today, guys. Subscribe if you haven't. Klassen out.